Hello, welcome to our program. We're here at the BC Forest Discovery Centre at the Trans-Canada Highway and Drinkwater Road. Welcome to Go Island, Cowichan Valley. On today's show, history made in Vancouver Island forests, amazing healing herbs, and a kayak launch perfect for summer. All that and more on Go Island, Cowichan Valley.
This is one of the real reasons that I moved from the Yukon. This is lavender, and I couldn't grow it up north if my life depended on it. And it's so healing, it's such a lovely plant that I just had to come here. And I ended up I've planted about 30 lavender plants since I got here on the property. They love these hot rocks that they're on. It just soaks up the heat and they just grow like crazy. Lavender is such a wonderful healing plant. It's super for any kind of stress. It's very calming, it's good for your skin, and as you can see, the bees just absolutely adore it.
Robin Round fell in love with plants as a child. A fond memory is helping her dad pull potatoes out of the ground. After decades of work as an environmental and social justice activist, she yearned for a major lifestyle change. Living in the Yukon with only a 100-day-long growing season, Robin did her homework looking for a better growing season and fell in love with the Cowichan Valley.
There's so many things in here. I've got everything from lamb's ears to calendula. I use the roses in my face cream.
Beautiful.
And some of them are just for beauty. I mean, the dahlias, and I love to eat the nasturtiums. They're really delicious. They're also really powerfully antimicrobial. Let's have a little. Do you want to have a try? Yeah, they're quite delicious. Yeah, they're delicious. They're from Peru.
Yeah.
Originally.
I mean, I know I've had nasturtiums on salad.
Yeah, they're yummy, aren't they? But they're very antimicrobial.
Yeah, I know.
So they're good for you.
This is the healthiest looking rosemary I've ever seen.
Well, and it's had a bit of a rough winter because we got such cold. I lost one of them, but it's done really well, so I've planted a few more. But they say rosemary grows where strong women live, so, so I figure it's going to have to do well here.
Spending time with Robin, one quickly learns about medicinal uses of plants as she shares her knowledge gained from studying herbalism. Some years ago, she became a chartered herbalist.
This is figwort. It's a plant that's been used in England forever, and you can see it's covered in bees. It's great for everything from any kind of itches and rashes to eczema. I've got it in a couple of my products. You see that the bees just go crazy for it. The wasps love it. It's just an amazing plant.
Not only does Robin love plants, but she's very committed to providing healthy habitat for countless creatures.
This is a healing place for people and for plants and for insects too. I've got snakes all over this yard too. It's just amazing. So I really trying to think of what's going to work here that's going to make the insects happy. I'm a new beekeeper. I'm just learning how to care for bees. I'm very excited to have them because they're very much at risk. It's really important for us all to be creating habitat for bees because they're under attack from a whole series of pesticides called neonicotinoids. I love the bees because I'm going to get some beautiful honey from them, and I also love the beeswax, which goes in my ointment. So I'll just come and have a sniff. Nothing smells better on a hot day than the honey in a hive. So this is my bee flower garden. I've got a blend of seeds from West Coast Seeds. There's at least 17 different species in here, and I've added a number more, including some really gorgeous white clover. The bees love the flowers here, and it provides them with nectar. And because they just live up the street here, they don't have to go very far to get it.
Robin practices companion gardening, finding fertile soil for plants who are compatible. But she also notices that plants will find their way into the best spot for them to grow. Some people call them volunteers. Spending time with Robin, you will learn folklore, history, and First Nations teachings, all related to a wide variety of plants and over 50 herbs, all grown in her sunny terraced garden.
This is yarrow. It's actually named Achillea millefolium because it's actually named after Achilles from the Trojan War, in Homer's Iliad, because this is such an amazing stauncher of blood, so it's actually been used on wounds. So the story with Achilles was that he would use this during the war on his soldiers who were wounded in battle. It's an amazing thing to stop bleeding. It's also really good for colds and flu. It's an amazing insect repellent. First Nations use it up north. And this is Comfrey. It's been called knit bone for centuries. Back in the 1500s, they were calling it knit bone because it's so amazing for healing of the body. The roots are used are dug up in the fall and dried and crushed and used for healing anything from, you can heal bones with Comfrey. I use it in my face cream and in my ointments. It's just so good on the skin. And if you're a gardener, Comfrey is lovely because it's called a dynamic accumulator, which means it actually concentrates minerals in its leaves, and you can cut it down. This is actually I'll cut this. This will be the third time this year I've cut this Comfrey down. So you can make a tea out of it to feed your plants. I cut it back and put it in the compost, and then put it under my fruit trees in the fall. This is another one of my all-time favorite plants. This is mullein. It's fabulous for respiratory conditions. It's great for wound healing, and it's so soft and fuzzy. I love to touch it all the time. You can actually take a mullein. We used to do this when we were kids. Dip it in wax or gasoline at the end of the season when they're like this tall, and make torches out of them.
Coming up, we'll learn about Robin's natural creams, ointments, and various other products contained under the Botanical Bliss label. At the Cowichan Valley Garden of Robin Round, there are plants and herbs which eventually become tinctures, oils, creams, and ointments. Robin often advocates returning to simpler remedies of the past to cure what ails us.
These are one of my best friends. These are dandelion roots. They're one of a healing superstar in the herbal repertoire. In the spring, not so much now, but in the spring I harvest the roots, tincture them, that means with alcohol, vodka and distilled water. You get a beautiful tincture. This one's been in there now since March 17th of 2014. It's ready to be harvested. Dandelions the list of dandelion's miracle properties is endless, but one of the great things it's for is for liver and kidneys, and the roots especially are great for your liver. So I make a tincture that I'll filter and bottle up. And you take it in very small quantities. You take a dropper full a day just to help strengthen your liver. It helps your digestion. I mean, our digestive systems are all under stress these days, and our livers too, from all the toxins in our environment. It's the biggest organ in our body, and I think it's probably the hardest working. So I'll filter that a couple times through, this is just a rough filter, but I'll continue to filter it until it's a clear liquid with nothing in it. And pop it in some dropper bottles, label them, and away we go with the lovely dandelion tincture. Herbal medicine is the medicine of the majority of the world's people. 80% of the world rely on herbs for their medicine. So, you know, this may look a little archaic and rustic and whatever, but you know what? That's the way the majority of the world heals itself.
To create soothing creams and lotions, Robin harvests herbs, flowers, and other botanical treats constantly. One of the vibrant beauties is a member of the daisy family.
So these are calendulas. They're called pot marigolds. They're one of my most popular flowers in just about everything I everything I do. Just pinch the top off, just right at the sort of the base of the flower, because what we'll do is then pluck the petals off. We won't do that now, but just pick them off. These petals are amazing for any kind of wounds. They're super on the skin. They're antifungal, antimicrobial. It's just an amazing plant, and it's so beautiful too. And have a sniff. They have a nice smell. Isn't that nice? Yeah. So just to give a really quick demo of working with calendula and creating an ointment from it, I'll just give you a few steps here. We've harvested the calendula, pluck off the heads to get just the petals, because that's where the healing properties are. Compost the last bits. I dry mine in a dehydrator. It's best not to put them in the oven. You want to dry them with air dry. I do an air dehydrator. Pop those in there. And again, you want about a 50-50 blend, and it's up to you, really. I have a special formula I use, but this will be good enough if you're working at home. Then you've got a mixture of calendula, and this is an olive oil. You could use any nice oil. Don't use canola or any GMO oil, preferably organic if you happen to have it. Sit that on a sunny shelf or a sunny window for about 6 weeks or so. Strain it off, Add a little bit of beeswax, preferably from somebody who knows bees, and you've got a lovely little ointment for cuts, scrapes, anything, a little bit of life's little owies. The calendula ointment is really nice for it. Once you've got them dried, you add them to your favorite oil. Let it steep for about 6 weeks or so on a nice sunny ledge. Strain it off, add a little bit of beeswax until you'll get sort of a nice texture. You have to sort of experiment with that in a pot on your stove. Pour it into some tins and you've got a lovely calendula ointment to heal up cuts and scrapes and wounds. So if you want to make a simple oil to help aches and pains, St. John's wort's great for that. First, I usually dry it before I put it in, just to make sure it's there's no interaction with the oil and the water. So I've dried it in my dehydrator. Stuff the St. John's wort in there, nice and dried, ready to go. And again, this is not a perfect science, especially if you're working with it at home. It doesn't really matter. I usually stuff a jar fairly full and then pour in a good quality olive oil. You can also use, basically, I use olive oil, it's the best. You can use other oils as well, but make sure they're not GMO. There you go, fill her full. Pop on a lid. Give her a shake. Every day you might want to give it a good shake. Sit it on, again, a sunny ledge for about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. It's really up to you. It depends on how urgent you are for a little ache and pain relief. Once I strain it off, I'll put it in little bottles of some kind, and then you can add pure essential oils. Lavender's great to add. It's very soothing and calming. It's also good for aches and pains. There's probably 100 different essential oils you could put in with the St. John's wort to help for aches and pains. But again, nice and simple. So this is what your St. John's wort in olive oil looks like when you start out, and about 6 weeks later, you're going to get this beautiful orangey red, lovely colored oil when you're finished. And the reason they call it St. John's wort is because it's considered, the red color made them think of the blood of St. John the Baptist, because it's St. John Baptiste Day is around this time in July, and that's why they're celebrating that festival, and that's when the herb is at its peak. So that's how it became St. John's wort. This is arnica flowers in olive oil. This is again great for aches and pains. In fact, this flower grows really well in Yukon. It loves it down here too. They actually say when the sheep fall off the mountain, they go roll in the arnica because it helps their aches and pains. So this is a new product I'm working on. This is my wild rosehip and rose petal serum in organic olive oil. It's been steeping now for about 6 weeks. Rose hips are full of vitamin C and vitamin A. It's lovely for the skin. I'm very excited about this one.
Robin is always experimenting, and a tried and true success story is her Wild Hip face cream, which uses wild-crafted rose hips harvested around Whitehorse. In 2013, Botanical Bliss's Wild Hip face cream won second place out of 25 North American creams and lotions at the Boston International Herb Symposium competition.
These are my fabulous rose hips. I picked them up in the Yukon because they get a really hard killing frost that really bumps the nutrients up. This is the magic ingredient in my face cream. Again, loaded with vitamin C, bioflavonoids, vitamin A. They're just a beautiful thing to put on your skin.
When she isn't running her home-based business and harvesting herbs and plants, Robin even has time for a little vegetable gardening.
Horseradish I brought down with me from the Yukon because I had so much fun growing it up there. It can withstand -40 and it just grows like a trooper. But the roots make the most amazing sauce, as you know. You can grind it up. I make 2 kinds of horseradish. The first one is to die for because it's so delicious, and the second one is to die from because it's so powerful. I actually have to wear goggles when I'm making horseradish because it is just going to burn your eyes, but boy is it good. So I grow a lot of vegetables here because I believe, as Hippocrates once said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So I'm just going to grab a giant squash, or rather a zucchini that we just found here. I can't believe I've been hauling these off as quickly as I can, but look at the size of this baby. That's got to be at least 50 muffins.
Robin Round attends many craft fairs and markets on Vancouver Island, and one of the most popular is the Saturday Duncan Market, just a short jump away from her bounteous garden, and a market that runs year-round except for 2 weeks in January. You can also find out more about her products at her website, botanicbliss.com. As she states on her labels, products are made on Vancouver Island with joy.
Come by my house. Come pick stuff up. You know, you're more than welcome to, and then I can show you where the comfrey is in your ointment or where the calendula is in your face cream.
Coming up, something you may not know about the Cowichan Valley. That's our program. We hope you've enjoyed it. Come down anytime. Enjoy all the wonderful exhibits here at the BC Forest Discovery Centre and ride the train. We'll see you next time.
Women's clothing provided by Tulip Noir, casual designer fashions. Men's wardrobe by DG Bremner & Co. Menswear and accessories. Hair services provided by Salon J.